in our costumes and laughing and getting candy, and then she was gone.
Guy with the white face.
His entire head is white.
Tis the season.
Hello and good evening, everybody. It is Sewer Dweller here, coming to you live with the Babysitter Massacre on our halfway to Halloween episode. Welcome to the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast. That's right, we have less than 6 months, or a little over 6 months, to until Halloween. So, for me at least, I like to try to celebrate the halfway to Halloween. As a way because I love Halloween and I love doing my haunted houses and that. So come join us. We're going to watch, like I said, the Babysitter Massacre, filmed here live in Dayton, Ohio, back in 2013. But first, let's talk about some horror movie and haunt news. Yeah, it is just going to be me tonight. So hopefully I can pull this off with just one person. We'll see how it goes. So horror movie news. There really isn't much haunt industry news this week. I tried looking some up. The only thing really coming out of Orlando and Universal Studios is that they're still going to be opening a couple of days early, Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend. I'm sorry, not Memorial Day. Labor Day weekend. Their opening night is August 31st. But there is, I mean, local haunt news, I guess you could say. Carnage yesterday made a post on their Facebook page that they will be closing their doors. They will not be opening this season. The Easter haunt would have been the final uh, show you'd get to see Carnage. That actually breaks our heart. I went to Carnage for the first time last year, and it was an amazing haunt. Um, I don't know. I haven't been told why they're closing. I just know they're closing, and it's very heartbreaking. Another loss to the industry. Um, One thing they did ask was that their employees and their customers, their loyal customers, do not bash any other haunts, which shouldn't happen to begin with. If you're in the haunt industry, you shouldn't bash any other haunt. I understand you have loyalty to your haunts. I have loyalty to my haunt. Hell's Dungeon is a great haunt, and I will defend it, but I'm not going to take time to bash any other haunt. There's multiple haunts in Dayton, Ohio, and there's multiple haunts around Dayton, Ohio. So bashing other haunts, it's not part of the industry, and it's not part of the idea of the industry. The haunt industry is supposed to bring people together, whether you work with them, whether you don't work with them, or if they're customers, everything. So the more you help each other, the better. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to horror movie news. Uh, Fangoria, this comes out today. Fangoria is reporting that Steve Buscemi, uh, if you've seen an Adam Sandler movie, you've seen Steve Buscemi. But Steve Buscemi has signed on to appear in season 2 of Wednesday, um, the Tim Burton, the Tim Burton show that was very successful in season 1. That of course was delayed. Season 2 was delayed because of the SAG-AFTRA and the writer strikes. But he's rumored to play the new Dean of Nevermore, as those who watched the show before remember the old Dean was killed at the end of the season. Um, I'm personally looking forward to season 2 because it was a good show. It was a great show. Had a lot of fun watching and trying to figure out, who the killer was. But yeah, that's really good news. I love Steve Buscemi, and I think he would, if he is playing the new Dean of Nevermore. Good, great. That's going to be awesome. All right. Also this week on Twitter, Damien Leone announced that the primary filming of Terrifier 3 has wrapped. The movie is finished. It is in the can, and they are now to the post production phase. The movie is scheduled to come out, I want to say, the end of October, which is going to be fun because it is supposed to be Christmas themed. They did announce last week that I think it was James or John Roebuck. I think it's in my notes here too, but he is going to play. He played Grandpa Munster in Rob Zombie's Munster movie, but he is playing Santa Claus in the new one. So definitely looking forward to Terrifier 3 and to see what else they have in store for us. Also, some news last week. Many of you probably already heard about this, but Dread Central is reporting that Blumhouse and Lionsgate are collaborating for a quote reimagining unquote of the Blair Witch Project. No, 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 no. Keep Blumhouse away from the Blair Witch Project, please. I wish Blumhouse would somehow stop with the remakes. It's ridiculous at this point, and just I know. Just please, 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 please stop with the remakes. I don't know how many more I can take. Which is gonna suck because this news section is filled with remake news. Um, but no, I just went to Horror Hound a couple of weeks ago, and I was unfortunately unable to attend the Blair Witch Project um, panel that they did because they did have Heather, Michael, and Joshua there, along with Eduardo Sanchez, who directed the movie. Um, and those actors, they have flat out said, they've been fighting for over 20 years, 25 years now, to get their images back because Paramount owns the likenesses of Josh Leonard, Michael, and Heather Donahue. Um, and they flat out said this movie has ruined their lives. So, which I mean, I love the Blair Witch. I love the whole idea of the Blair Witch. I think it's great, but unless if you're gonna do a sequel and you're gonna do something with Rustin Parr, or you're gonna do something with the actual story of the witch itself, that's one thing. But we don't need another Blair Witch project. That's just not needed. A lot of people don't like the movie to begin with, because you don't see the witch. Well, that's another subject for another time if we ever do Halloween 3, because I compare that to the same hate that Halloween 3 gets. Halloween 3 gets a lot of hate, and I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's good hate. I think it's just hate. Um, so yeah, it's the same way because you don't get to see the witch in Halloween 3. You don't get to see, um, and Michael Myers, of course, is the Halloween 3. But moving on. Speaking of potential remakes, Paramount head Jonathan Glickman has greenlit plans for another scary movie film. Yes, the scary movie that came out also around early 2000s, that you have that Keenan Ivory Wayans wrote and directed the first two, starring Anna Faris, the Wayans, Marlon Wayans, both the Wayans brothers actually, and a bunch of other people. But the reports are that it's a sequel, not a reboot. Um, I've seen a few places that it could be a reboot, but um, yeah, if it's going to be a sequel, hopefully it's going to be good. They can keep going with these because it doesn't follow a single story the whole way unless you're talking about like Anna Faris. But even Cindy's character kind of changed after the second one. There's the news about Daniel Roebuck, of course, was cast to play Santa Claus in the new Terrifier movie. We just talked about that because Terrifier 3 wrapped. Um, Here's an interesting one. Japanese filmmaker, I had never say this guy's name right, Takashi Miyake, has over 150, he has over 115 directing credits to his names, and it has only taken him 33 years to reach that number. Um, one of his latest credits comes on a blood-soaked horror thriller called Lumberjack the Monster. Lumberjack the Monster. Rue Morgue has confirmed that Lumberjack the Monster is going to be available to watch on Netflix as of June 1st. If you've not watched any of Takashi Miyake's movies, they are very violent, they are very gory, and they are very good. Um, I still remember when I was working at a haunt back home, back in Virginia Beach. We would sit upstairs during the day because we were open for like 12, 14 hours a day, and we were on the beach, so we would just sit upstairs watching movies, and that's the first time I ever got to see Ichi the Killer. And that movie is just straight up violent. It is great though. Um, Before the film reaches Netflix, though, New York City's Japan Society, located at 333 East 47th Street, will be hosting its North American premiere screening on Monday, May 6th at 8. There will be a pre-screening reception at 7 with beverages donated by Sapporo Stone Brewing and Brooklyn Kura. The screening is being presented in conjunction with the Tribeca Film Festival as part of its Escape from Tribeca program. Lumberjack the Monster is based on a novel. I'm going to mess these names up. I know I am. By Mayusuke Kurai and stars Kazuya Kamanashi, Naneo, and Yoshioka. Shota Samatani and Shido Nakamura. I'm really not good with with foreign names. I apologize if I messed any of these names up. The film basically it's a cat and mouse chase between a serial killer and a lawyer hot on his trail. It is filled with gruesome murders, missing brains, and disturbing secrets. Most disturbing, the lawyer is a psychopath. It's gonna be good. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. That anything Takashi Miyake puts out is usually very good and very gory and very violent. So if you're a fan of gore fests, that check it out. Um, Last year, the 20th anniversary of director Rob Zombie's featured directorial debut, House of a Thousand Corpses, came and went last year. Last year was the 20th anniversary. So on the 21st anniversary, what is he going to do? He is working on a book about the making of it. Zombie also shared multiple behind the scene images, and uh, you can check this out at the bottom of the article, which I believe I got off of Fangoria. Zombie wrote to celebrate the 21st anniversary of House of a Thousand Corpses being released. I thought I would give you a sneak peek at the House of a Thousand Corpses book that I've been working on. This thing is packed with rare photos, blueprints, storyboards, makeup tests, and my original script with all my handwritten notes and sketches. So yeah, that I'm gonna be spending money this summer, I guess, or sometime this year when that book comes out because I do love House of a Thousand Corpses. It is one of my favorite ones. I got to play Captain Spaulding for one night last year at the dungeon. And it went over pretty well, I thought. Um, Final news. I think that's going to be the final news. Lionsgate is playing little release date shuffle the past couple weeks as Deadline reports that the studio has made a few changes to the schedule. First off, the release of the upcoming reboot of The Crow, which I'm going to wait till it comes on the streaming service. I'm not going to go out of my way to see that. Unfortunately, it just doesn't appeal to me. Um, has been pushed from June 7th to August 23rd. So if you were planning to go see The Crow on June 7th, not going to happen. Uh, Mainly because they're looks like Lionsgate is releasing the new Bad Boys movie the same weekend. So you don't really want to put out a big movie like The Crow that's probably going to make decent money the same weekend as your summer blockbuster. So yeah, that's understandable. But in addition to bumping The Crow, Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures have also pushed back the release of Saw 11 by a full year. The 11th installment of the franchise was supposed to hit theaters on September 27th, but now the film will debut on September 26th of 2025. The original release date will be taken over by Never Let Go, a psychological thriller starring Alexandra Aja and Holly Berry. Or, I'm sorry, directed by Alexandra. And starring Holly Berry. My fault. Tell you what, one more piece of news. We ain't been going that long. Kino Lorber has announced they're releasing. I'm sorry, I thought this was the Naked Gun story, but they are releasing the 1990 Leslie Nielsen comedy spoof, Repossessed, on Blu-ray with a brand new 2K remaster. Repossessed stars Leslie Nielsen, Ned Beatty, and Linda Blair, and I love that movie. It is Leslie Nielsen at his comedic finest, and yeah, I'm probably going to be spending some money that week again because I do love that movie. Um, so yeah, be on the lookout for that. Um, so that's all the news this week. Let's talk some Babysitter Massacre. Um, the film. Excuse me one second, guys. Sorry, but I've been under the weather a little bit, so if my voice sounds a little weird, that is why. But the film was released in 2013. It was filmed here in Dayton, Ohio. You can, if you're from Dayton, Ohio, you'll recognize a lot of the area, especially the houses and that, because a lot of the houses in Dayton in certain areas look exactly the same. Um, the movie was directed by Henry Cuoto. He is a local filmmaker. He's got a lot of movies out. This is one of I don't know if this is one of his. I think it's one of his first ones. He's gone on and quoted himself saying that this was the final independent horror movie that Blockbuster ever released before they stopped releasing, independent movies and before they started closing. And the movie was released in 2013, so we have no reason not to believe him when he says that. I stopped working at Blockbuster in 2013, so I don't even remember this movie coming out in Blockbuster. But I was like really early in 2013 is when I stopped working at Blockbuster. We're only going to talk about a few of the actors in the movie because it's really um, not really not a lot of people in here that I recognize. But the movie stars Erin R. Ryan as Angela. Um, she's played in a lot of movies, especially a lot of Henrik's movies. Mary Lee Osborne as Bianca. Uh, Johnny Durian as Lucky. Tara Clark as Arlene. Odette Despair as Linda, and finally, we will. I think I've lost the guy's name. The guy that plays Tyler. Oh, here we go. Marshall Norman playing Tyler Petrino. Um, you're gonna find in this movie they really don't do a very good job of naming people, or at least telling people their names. So we're gonna work with that. Yeah. So happy halfway to Halloween. Let's start with Babysitter Massacre. All right, so the movie begins. It's pretty much, if you've seen the poster, it's exactly the poster. It's the blonde cheerleader sitting in a chair. She's tied up, and then you see a pair of garden shears clamping shut. Fade to black. Cut back in. Now all of a sudden, we're in Ray Falls, Ohio. It's a very beautiful valley shot with a bunch of fall. It's obviously fall. It is Halloween. We cut to Linda, who is she's kind of playfully arguing. This is the only babysitting scene in this entire movie. Um, like babysitting has a lot to do with the plot, but this is the only babysitting scene in the movie where, basically Linda and this little girl are, joking around. I guess the little girl didn't go to school because she wasn't feeling well. And she said that she wasn't feeling well, but still wasn't feeling well, but she was ready to go trick or treating. Linda tells her to go upstairs and lay down for a little bit, and if she feels better in about an hour or so, they'll go trick or treating. Linda then sits down and basically gloats that she just bought herself about an hour or two of uh, peace and quiet. So as she leaves back, she gets a text message, and in the text message, you could barely see the picture, but it's blood and a drain. Um, yeah, like I said, they didn't do a really good job showing the picture. But she gets a text picture the text message with the picture, and Linda kind of just goes, "Meh, whatever, fucking Halloween." All right, so we go to our next scene, and this blows my mind. Fair warning: this is going to be a not safe for work episode because there is a lot of nudity in this movie. A lot of nudity, a lot of killing. It's yeah. So we basically, I say this because we score our first shot of nudity at 1 minute and 22 seconds in the movie. That's right. And I don't just mean the boobs. I mean it's full frontal as Linda, who is in her boss's bedroom. They never really said if she's babysitting this girl at home or if she's babysitting her at the kid's house. I mean, for the most part, I think we can assume that it's the kid's house, the parents' house. Um, and she just strips down, and it is full frontal. You see everything God gave this woman. Um, then it cuts away, and now she's in the bathtub. She's taking a bath in her boss's bathtub. I don't know many babysitters, but I'm pretty sure you don't take a bath in your boss's bathtub. That I'm pretty sure is yeah. I'm pretty sure that's a no-no. So she's in the bathtub, she gets another text and while in the bathroom. This time you don't get to see what was said. She just goes, "I'm too old for Halloween," and sets the phone back down. Cut away, come back. She's still in the bath, and now she's shaving her legs in the bathtub. Like it just bothers me a little bit that this is probably her boss's uh, bathroom, and there she is shaving her legs, taking a bath, cleaning herself, all that good stuff. Um, as she's shaving her legs, her phone goes off again, and this time it scares her, and she actually ends up cutting herself. Um, and she gets pissed. We cut away. She's out of the bathtub now, walking in the hallway with the towel on, and she gets pissed off and texts the number. Who is this? They respond simply, a friend. And she responds, tormenting the babysitter. How original. So we're basically getting that babysitter in the house trope where the phone calls coming from in the house. Well, the number responds, "Yeah, but I'm not in the house yet." Linda gets scared, turns around, locks the bedroom door, and that lock must be the worst fucking lock ever. Because this dude in a white mask just opens the door, grabs her, and yanks her out. That's it. We cut away. Like, don't get to know what happened to the little girl or anything like that. And they, no, no, fuck this. Fuck it. We're just going to put her in a chair. So now she's sitting in the same chair in the same room as the girl from the opening scene. And we see the same pair of gardening shears in the hand of a man with a white mask. I'm going to call this guy White Mask for the entire movie because it's just the easiest way. They never really give the killer a name until the reveal. But yeah, it's literally just a guy in a white baklava or balaclava, pulled over his face, a Carhartt jacket, and some gardening gloves. Um, so the camera goes back again and comes and basically it fades away and comes back to Linda still in the chair. The killer takes the shears and starts ripping off Linda's fingernails, one by one off one hand. It's pretty gruesome actually. It's definitely made me cringe watching it. I don't like that kind of stuff, like the ripping of the teeth out, ripping of the nails, and that. It's not something for me. It will make me cringe. It did make me cringe. So very good job on that one. Then the killer just slits her throat, and Linda's dead. That's it. Bye, Linda. Then we finally get the title screen and off we go. Now the movie has begun. We come back and this old man is sitting on the steps leading up to his house. In Ohio, there are a lot of these houses sit on really like kind of high hills. Um, and as you walk up this, then you have to walk up a lot of steps to get up to the house. Like mowing these lawns have to be a pain in the ass. And this is one of those style of houses where you got to walk up like 20 steps to get up to your lawn. Um, and then to get into your house. But he's sitting there, he's drinking his coffee, and it's snowing. It's October, and it's Ohio. Of course, it's fucking snowing. Anybody from Ohio will tell you, yeah, it's snowing in Ohio in October. Um, and then a young woman walks up, and this is Angela. This is Aaron R. Ryan. Angela. They talk about how bored, how bored he's in retirement. He's bored. And that is official by the county that April, his daughter, is officially dead by absentia. Since nobody has seen her in 7 years. Basically, what they've done is they've declared her dead because nobody knows where she is. Nobody's seen her in 7 years. She's disappeared. Um, and since they haven't seen her in 7 years, they're going to go ahead and just declare her dead. Um, and they have a little talk. It's a little heartfelt talk between the two. He asks Angela if she's ready for Halloween. She says she's having a few friends over for a slumber party. He says, "I'm feeling better already because my friend's coming over," which, red flag, red flag, red flag. Could be the red herring, you never know. But that's a red fucking flag right there. We now go to our second shower scene of the movie. We're not even like 10 minutes into this movie, and we already got our second shower scene. As Angela takes her, just gets in the shower. Yeah, that's it. Just gets in the shower, and the Bush game is heavy on this one. Um, so as she's showering, ominous music starts playing. Goes back to her, back to the shower curtain, back to her. She obviously hears something, turns her uh turns the shower off, goes to slowly reaching over to the slowly goes over to the shower curtain, goes to pull the shower curtain back, and lo and behold, it is her friend. I am going to call her lesbian friend most of this movie. Because they did not tell her us her name. You'll see in a little bit why. But lesbian friend, they have a chat. She scares her. She goes, "Well, it's that time of year. It's spirit of the season." They go to the room, and it turns out her friend is having nightmares again about a man with a white mask. Um, Basically, the story is that she was with lesbian friend was with April when April was abducted by a man in a white mask. And she's never really gotten over it. She's suffering from survivor's guilt. It turns out that the girls had started a babysitters club when they were younger, like preteen, like 14, 15, 16 years old. And it was about like 6 or 7 of them that were in this club. They all decided they were going, we'll get to that later. But they went trick or treating, and Angela, or a lesbian friend, was with April as she was as when she got kidnapped. So she feels guilty about it, and it turns out also in the scene, you find out that none of the other people who were in the group believe her, that she had nothing to do with it, or that they actually blame her. They blame her for um April going missing. So Angela invites lesbian friend over to the slumber party later on with the old babysitters club, um, to kind of sort of basically to try to make amends and everything. Um, so she said she'd be there. So we cut to a woman, in just a random woman in the woods. She works for either a logging company or some kind of company. She's marking trees to be cut down. Um, so she's out there. She got a notebook, all that good. No uniform or anything, just in random street clothes. She got a notebook with her, and all of a sudden, the man in the white mask like whirs by the screen real quick. It's like the whole as she's spraying a tree. She doesn't see him. She gets a phone call. She's one of the girls in the babysitters club, and she tells him she's just gonna skip the party. She doesn't feel like going out tonight. She knows it's Halloween, but she just wants to stay home, drink wine, and have some food. And then she says, "Goodbye, sis." This never comes back to play. We don't know who she was talking to. We don't know why she called him sis, who her sister was, or anything like that. Like that's it. Um, and this is when I started noting like this movie is doing a very bad job of basically telling us the name of people that are in the movie. So you have to, yeah, and it doesn't stop here. Trust me. She hangs up the phone, and the man with the white mask appears, and basically takes a whack at her with a hatchet. It kind of seems like he misses, but I guess he hit her in the bottom of her hand. She goes running, and all of a sudden just stops by a tree. Um, and we see the little nick on her hand that he got her with. She reaches for her phone. I'm assuming to call the police, but White Mask is there to basically just start hacking her up with the hatchet. And we will now never know who this person actually is because they're dead. Um, we don't get to see the kill either. A lot of the kills in this movie are like the gore effects are good and everything like that, but we don't actually get to see many of these kills. Um, but we do get to see a little bit of blood splatter on the tree, which it would have been a lot more blood, but Um, I think it's safe to say this movie probably didn't have that big of a budget, so we'll let him go on that one. Um, let's move on. It basically cuts away after you get the blood splatter. Comes back. She's laying on the ground. The killer sits her up, and we do see a deep gash in the side of her neck. Again, the makeup effects are great. It's just I wish we would have seen more of the kills. He takes the spray paint, marks it with an X, and just walks away. That's it. That girl's dead, never to be seen again. Uh, Okay, now there's another female. Now we go to another female. Again, not naming names. She walks down the stairs of her house. She's basically in a towel and a bikini. Um, and her boyfriend looks up and goes, "What the hell are you doing?" Well, she's about to go outside tanning. She's about to go tan outside. And he's like, "Are you out of your fucking mind? It's 28 degrees outside." What? She essentially calls him a pussy and goes outside, comes back, and then immediately, like, cuts away, cuts back. Um, And surprise, surprise, she's coming back in and said, "Yeah, maybe she was wrong for the first time ever." Literally her words, guys. Literally her words. Um, so she comes back in and she calls for Tony and asks to see his surprise costume because I guess he didn't tell his partner, girlfriend, wife, never say what they are, what his costume was. But White Mask is standing there instead. She asks him if he's supposed to be a tampon and if where he and asks him where'd you get it from? Did you have to blow a guy for it? She says, "I'm gonna go get changed, get ready for the party." She goes to get changed and boops White Mask on the nose. Just boop as she walks up the stairs. Well, she walks upstairs and sees Tony's dead body laying on the floor, and it turns out that the guy in a white mask doesn't take kindly to being booped because he snatches her ass up and we go back to the chair. White Mask then whips out a straight razor, a la Sweetie Todd style, and just shoves it in her mouth, almost like the Joker in Dark Knight. Uh, Kind of like moves it around a little bit. Pans back out. She got a bloody mouth. Um, Eden slices her ear off, makes her look at it, and then just slices her throat. We're already at 3 deaths, and we're at the 18-minute mark. So then we cut over. Angela's sitting in a living room. She's looking depressed. Angela's mom comes downstairs, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about that, guys. There's plenty of soda in the fridge for your party tonight, and it's the cherry kind that you like." Yeah, there's gonna be liquor at this party, guys. There's not even just liquor, but wine, liquor, anything. There's alcohol. These are grown people. Let's not forget these aren't teenagers. These are grown ass people. Um, Her mom asks her what's wrong, and she says she's had a terrible day. And they talk for a minute, and the mom goes, "Oh, you were talking to old man Walker, and that, you know, surprise, surprise, old man Walker depressed you from the talk, right? Because you're thinking about April now and all that stuff." Her mom pretty much says Walker won't get over the loss of his daughter and not let him be a buzzkill. She gives her a speech about depression. It's a meaningful speech, but I'm just not going to go through it right now. Um, it kind of cheers Angela up. The mom puts on, the mom puts on a mask and asks how she looks, and Angela says she looks like a big pussy. Um, and they tease each other back and forth. She asks her mom if she's gonna go she's trying to get with a frat boy, and she goes, "Oh no, I'm trying to get with two frat boys." Um, then it goes back to Angela. Angela basically tells her mom, "You're not dressed like a cat. You're dressed like a cougar." And her mom leaves for the night, never to be seen again. Now Lucky shows up. The second person in the movie whose name we actually get, or third person, I guess, because we did get Old Man Walker's. Um, and she is the first person yeah, that's what it is. Lucky is apparently Angela's quote best friend. Angela gets a text, and she tells Lucky that Linda keeps sending her pictures of her and the girls dressed up in their Halloween costumes. So basically, they're getting pictures of the dead bodies of their friends from Linda's phone. Linda, of course, took the first one. Um, so yeah, that's happening. Lucky says it looks, and they both like, oh, it looks so fake, and it looks like ketchup. Um, so we cut to a group. Basically, we cut to the downtown Halloween party. Looks like it was actually filmed. Uh, Here locally, we have three relatively big Halloween parties at Halloween time. Here in Dayton, one is at Foy's out in Fairfield, and you're not getting alcohol out there. It's more of a kids Halloween festival. There's the Boo and the Berg out in Miamisburg, which just doesn't look like it, but it does look like the Oregon District's Halloween um, celebration, which is actually really, really fun to go to. Um, so then we go from that immediately to an office. Where this guy, the girl is there's a girl walking around. She's obviously the secretary cleaning up, all that good stuff. Her boss basically makes couple of flirty comments to her and tells her to go ahead and shut the lights off and go ahead and shut the lights off and go out and enjoy life. And he kicks a bunch of papers and goes, "Yep, I'm going home alone tonight." Like, yeah, yeah, that's extremely inappropriate, bud. Um, so as she's cleaning up, lesbian friend shows up and scares the secretary. Um, and says she apologizes, but she just wants to talk. Um, why she chose to just show up at her job, like in an office, how she got into the office without nobody noticing, all that good stuff. Like, they don't have security or anything. Whatever. She's there to talk. They have a little bit of an argument with the babysitter club not wanting to go. So basically, we get the story of what happened the night April was murdered. Um, Basically, most of the Babysitters Club didn't want to go trick or treating because, surprise, surprise, it's Ohio. It's cold, it's rainy, it's ugly. Yeah. Um, and they didn't want to go trick or treating because of the cold and snow, but Angela did, or a lesbian friend did, and April decided to go with her because they were best friends. Um, and she basically blames lesbian friend for wanting to go and taking April with her. She asked if lesbian friend even tried to stop what happened. She tried to stop April from being kidnapped and murdered and all that stuff. Like, could have swung her bag at him, anything. Lesbian friends with Lesbian friend responds with, "I was just a kid," and we finally get a name. We get a name for the secretary friend, and it's Sandra. And says when she looks at and when the only thing she sees when she looks at lesbian friend is April's face lying in a ditch somewhere. She says their friendship is just like April, dead in the ground. Like, fucking damn, dude. That's a little dark. So Sandra, she kicks the lesbian friend out of the office. Sandra goes to leave the office and sees White Mask like stabbing her boss, and it's fucking hilarious because it wasn't like murder. It was like you'd see like if you ever went to an improv and he's sitting there just like doody doo, just stabbing him, like just overacting and all that good stuff. It was funny, but it was supposed to be murdering the boss. Um, Sandra goes running down the hall. White Mask comes over, looks through the window in the door, and sees Sandra walking. We cut to Sandra running down the hall. Cut back to White Mask doing the slasher walk, doing just moseying down the hallway. Um, and it goes back to Sandra, who's just fucking hiding somewhere all of a sudden. just didn't show her getting in the hiding spot. Nothing. Just she's kneeled down in the dark. She goes to call 911, and needless to say, White Mask he stalks around for a minute, and he just fucking yanks her up, snatches, and he just immediately cuts outside to the lesbian party or to the party, the downtown party, where lesbian friend sees White Mask staring at her from across the street. So if this is supposed to be happening at the same time. Are there two White Masks? Why is there happening at the same time? Who knows? Who knows? But he turns and starts walking away, and she just follows him down the street, and she ends up losing him. Um, we cut to Angela and Lucky discussing the pictures they received. They're still saying that one looks fake. That looks fake. You can see them. You can see the indentions in the mask. Next thing you know, a random blonde just walks in and says hi, how you doing? And it scares him basically. They ask how she got in, but she says, "Well, the door was open. The door was unlocked, which isn't safe because it's Halloween." Actually, you're in Dayton, Ohio. It's not safe because you're in Dayton, Ohio. They don't leave your door unlocked in Dayton, Ohio. That's just a bad idea. Um, so she sees the pictures and she says the costumes are dumb and fake. Blondie apparently just broke up with her boyfriend for the sixth time. Again, we have not learned Blondie's name. We just haven't. We get some pointless dialogue before there's a knock on the door. They think it's trick or treaters, but instead it's a box. They think it's a prank, so Blondie goes and opens it, and inside the box is lingerie. Um, Lucky and Angela are both like, what the fuck? Why would somebody just leave lingerie on the porch? Well, Blondie thinks it's her ex-boyfriend. Dropped it off as a gift. Saying that she knows how much that he knows how much she loves horror movies, and that she's wanted to relive a scene from Sorority House Massacre, where the girls are all hanging out in their lingerie, and she wants to recreate it. Um, Lucky doesn't like the idea, and Angela basically says, Angela's like, "Yeah, we're not gonna put this on to fulfill one of your ex boyfriend's fantasies." And Blondie goes, "No, it's not going to be fulfilling one of his fantasies. It's for one of my fantasies." Angela says she's down, but she gets to keep whatever she wears. And the blonde girl just goes, "Man, not my credit card." We cut to another random female just sleeping by a bowl of candy. Like this, we never introduced this girl, nothing. White Mask is standing there. She says, and she just wakes up and looks at him. Um, like, what? She says she wanted her nap to go on a little longer, but she assumes he has something else in mind. Like, girl, this girl dude just broke into your house, right? Like, s- you're sleeping and this dude is in your house. But of course, he's a big silent type, so she just assumes he wants to see her naked. So, of course, she just takes her clothes off. He just for the first person, she has no clue who it is, anything like that. Nothing. She starts dropping candy on her body. Picks it up, does the whole sexy drop the candy on her body, and then pretending to go down on some smarties, trying to basically flirt with him and entice him. She then tells him she's played alone long enough, and why doesn't he give her a big surprise? She lies down, and he just walks over and starts feeling her up, grabs her boob, and White Mask drags some scissors down her body and stabs her right in the gut. Another death off screen, but we do see her face when it happens. I think I'm missing something. I could have sworn a couple more of them girls. Nope, I think we're good actually. So we then cut to the lesbian friend. 30 minutes in the movie, and we still do not have a name for this girl. She's in the movie quite a bit. Like they have not once said her name yet. And it obviously she ordered some pizza to a stoop she was sitting on. Pizza guy shows up, and it just pisses her off. Turns out they used to date, so I guess we have to switch lesbian friend to bisexual friend. I guess they used to date and they broke up. They argue some more. She calls him a pig fucker. He really does try to make her feel better, but she just yells at him. And we do find out his name is Tyler, so we have a name for this guy, who just appears 30 minutes into the movie. Still no name for the lesbian friend. We go to another woman, random woman, who is just walks down the stairs with the doorbell rings. She walks down the stairs, opens the door, looks around, nobody's there, shuts the door, open, and then or goes to shut the door, and White Mask just busts in and starts choking her. Yep, just chokes her, and he's just killed this random woman that we have no idea who, what, where. Yep, another death. We cut to the girls. They're still looking at the box, and Angela says Blondie's ex-boyfriend is weird. We now get scenes, and then now Blondie tells him to go get changed, so now we get scenes of Lucky and Angela changing. Two more nude scenes for you. We do finally learn that Blondie's name is Arlene. So another name we finally learned later in the movie. Arlene just keeps being like a huge bitch to Lucky. Lucky thinks she hates her and all that stuff. Um, because Arlene just walks in with nothing on, like nothing but a pair of panties on. Both Lucky are both Lucky and Angela are both in their lingerie. Lucky's more in like bra and panties, but Arlene walks in and she's just in a pair of blue panties and nothing else. Arlene just, Lucky asks her to put clothes on, and finally, Arlene makes her say that she's intimidated by her, and that's why she wants her to put the clothes on. Whatever. You know, just basically Arlene being a bitch. Um, we cut to lesbian friends sitting on the couch in the dark, trying to convince herself that the white mask she saw at the party was a frat boy in a costume and not the real guy. Yeah, she doesn't. If that doesn't work, she leaves the house. So we go back to the slumber party. Arlene has put her top on. The girls talk some more, and then there's a knock at the door. Arlene wants to go get the door. Wants all three to go get the door together. So because she thinks it's her ex, and she wants him to see all three of them in their outfits together. It takes some convincing, but they all three go, and they open the door, and it's Old Man Walker. Angela covers herself up. Walker says he just wanted to bring the leftover candy for the party, and says if they need anything to just call him. That yeah. Then we cut. It's kind of a scene. Old Man Walker being creepy again. Um, we now cut to a random guy in a car dead. I think it's safe to assume this is the ex. Again, they don't tell us. We're say we're there to assume. Now we cut to the office girl. Office girl is not dead. She is sitting in the chair. White Mask pours what looks like acid on her, which it didn't really like do the whole acid effect, but it was still pretty gruesome. Um, pours the acid on her, takes her picture with Linda's phone, and stabs her in the back of the head, and Sandra is dead. We cut back to the girls, and they are now on their third bottle of wine. Angela goes to turn on the television, but Arlene has a better idea and breaks out a Ouija board. There is a knock at the door, and it is lesbian friend, and we finally learn. We are 45 minutes into this movie. We finally learn that her name is Bianca. So now we can put a name to her. Lesbian friend is Bianca. Arlene suggests, Arlene opens the door and basically calls her a cunt. Again, they don't like her because they blame her for April. Arlene suggests that Bianca comes in and plays the Ouija board with them. We cut away and the girls are on the floor playing with the Ouija board. Arlene asks if anybody hears them. They make the figure eight motion, and it points to yes. She asks what the spirit's name is. Of course, the name is April. And they accuse Arlene of doing it on purpose. Arlene says she's not doing it. Bianca gets up, says I should probably leave. And uh, Arlene asks what it's like to be dead. The answer is lonely. Arlene asks why she is dead, and it spells out Bianca's name. And it really was. Basically, it was Arlene playing a mean prank and just being the complete bitch that she is. We cut to another Halloween party, just a random Halloween party in the basement for fucking reasons. Like it's literally there's no reason to cut to this party. It's there. It's about 6 people. One of the girls gets up and she goes to use the bathroom upstairs out of the basement. And there's a knock on the door. So naturally, it's not her house. But she went to answer it. There's nobody there. So she closes it. She finds, and there's a box of matches, box of Halloween decorations. So she starts playing with the match. She starts going through. She finds a match. She's going to go scare her friends in the basement. So she walks down the stairs, jumps out, goes, "Rawr!" And everybody's fucking dead. Everybody at the party. In the time it took her to go to the bathroom, walk upstairs, go to the bathroom, answer the door, go through the box, everybody's been murdered. She tries to run, but she reaches the door, the upstairs door to the outside. A white mask snatches her up and pulls her back in. Sorry about that, guys. Trying to cough outside of the mic. So Bianca is back at her house. Or we go back to Bianca. Bianca's back at her house, and she calls Tyler because she needs someone to talk to. Um, Bianca says she had a run in with the girls. She tells Tyler about the guy downtown, the white mask she saw downtown. And something weird is going on. Like something weird. She thinks something weird is going on. Bianca wants to go check on the other girls, and she needs a ride, basically. So back to the slumber party. Angela and Arlene, or says Arlene went too far. Angela says Bianca heard enough after they all walked away from her at the funeral. Arlene doesn't even want to talk about it. She does not want to talk about April or anything. We cut over to the car. Tyler's trying to make small talk with Bianca. They get to someone's house who isn't home. Bianca says something weird is happening. Bianca's not having any of it from Tyler. Um, we go back to the girls and the girls at the slumber party, and they are completely out of wine. They are drunk. And Arlene asks why the ex isn't there yet. Her ex isn't there yet. Angela makes a good point of this. Bitch, you dumped him. He ain't gonna just come running back because you just dumped him. This is like the 6th or 7th time you dumped him. Arlene goes into a rant about how she isn't mean, but that they live in a bubble that she doesn't. Arlene says, her dad walked away when she was 13, and that's why she's a bitch. Great. I mean, that's really not a good reason, but okay. Lucky then hits Arlene in the face with a pillow, and a small pillow fight ensues. They knock the wine bottles over, all that good stuff. We cut to the chair again, and now the random girl from the party, who nobody knows, is sitting in it. He takes some pepper spray and just hits her directly in the eyes with it. I mean, just like full on, just for like 2 minutes. And apparently that makes her foam in the mouth, and she dies. I've never heard of death by pepper spray. I can see death by pepper spray be like suffocate from it, but I don't think pepper spray is gonna make you foam out of the mouth. But fine, okay, what? Sure. We go back to Tyler, who asks if Bianca is satisfied that all 4 houses they've been to are empty. He asks if they should go to the downtown party. She says yes, but she doesn't want him to go with her. Then she decides she just wants to go back to Angela's to protect the other 3. We cut to the slumber party, and all the girls are asleep on the 2 couch. There's 2 couches there. White Mask pops up and places a cloth. Basically, he chloroforms all 3 girls. It cuts away, and then we open up. We come back, and Lucky is in the chair. She's sitting in the chair that's been used for all the murder so far. The other 2 are laying on the floor beside her. Lucky says a guy in a mask beat her and told her something. This is when the movie starts finally getting a little dark and actually kind of creepy. But Lucky says if they untie her, he'll kill all 3 of them. But if they want out, if Arlene and Angela want out, they have to kill Lucky, and he'll let them go. Angela runs up trying to knock on the door to appeal to the whoever has them. There's a big bang, and he comes back down the stairs. White Mask basically is on the other side of the door. It now dawns on the girls that the pictures were real and their friends are dead. Next thing you know, White Mask throws down a hammer into the basement, and it's obvious he wants them to use the hammer to kill Lucky. We cut back to Tyler and Bianca. They're kind of reconciling. He drops her off, and we cut back to the three girls, to the slumber party girls. Arlene has the hammer and is standing in front of Lucky. Basically, back to that. He does drop Bianca off at Angela's house and leaves. Arlene has the hammer and she's standing in front of Lucky. Angela and Arlene are arguing over, killing Lucky. Needless to say, Angela doesn't want to kill Lucky. She wants to keep it going and trying to, save her life and everything. Um, versus, excuse me, versus Arlene, who says, "I'm just trying to save our lives. I can't. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I just want to save our lives." Lucky says if it has to happen, to just fucking do it. Just fucking kill her. Arlene apologizes and hits Lucky in the head repeatedly, and then as Lucky's hemorrhaging, she takes the claw end of the hammer, and stabs Lucky in the chest with it. Lucky has died. Bianca shows up at Angela's house where nobody is. She's banging on the door. No one's answering. Old Man Walker appears behind her. It scares her. Old Man Walker, crosses his arms, and to nobody's shock, he has the gloves of the killer on. The killer has these work gloves on. It's the same gloves. So Old Man Walker crosses his arms, and we can see the gloves. Walker tells her the girls probably they've been drinking a lot. The girls probably passed out from the wine, and he offers to take Bianca home. He tells her how much April loved her and that Halloween was her favorite time of year and how much she loved going trick or treating and hanging out with Bianca. Bianca's crying as she thanks him, and Walker says, "Oh yeah, one more thing, headbutt." Just headbutts the shit, knocks her out. Um, it's like knocks her out, and Walker. It goes to face of black, and all you hear is Walker going, I'm really making a habit of sparing your life, little girl." We cut to the basement where Angela and Arlene are crying and holding each other, with Lucky basically dead in a chair. The door opens and White Mask walks down the stairs. He grabs Arlene and starts choking her. Angela takes her sweet ass time grabbing the hammer from Lucky's torso. Like, I mean, just takes her sweet ass. Like, your friend is getting murdered, darling. You better do something if you're gonna do it. She takes a swing at him, and he just like bitch slaps the hammer out of her hand. Like, just slaps the hammer out of her hand. It goes back down. She runs back downstairs. He goes after her and he takes his mask off to reveal to shock him, nobody. Old Man Walker is the killer. He tries to calm her down, saying it's okay. It's okay. It's me. Don't, it's me. Because this dude thinks that's going to calm her down. Like, she just watched two of her friends get murdered. Yeah, nah. We all of a sudden cut to Bianca, who's lying unconscious on the porch next door. So he basically just knocked her out. He didn't kill her, didn't move her, nothing. Just left her on the porch unconscious. We come back. Arlene is dead. We assume we don't see her dead body, but Arlene's probably dead. And Angel is now in Walker's kitchen. She wakes up. Walker says it's almost time to go, and just goes ahead and slices Angela's tendons in her ankle so she can't walk. He says, this is so much better than having to tie you up. You'll be a lot more comfortable this way." Um, Angela says, "You killed her," and he says, "Oh, I killed all of them." So it's time for the killer's explanation. Except you really don't get an explanation. The only thing you get is it turns out Old Man Walker is in love with Angela. And he just wants to have her to have a fresh start without her idiot friends. And he loves her. He wants to show her how much he loves her. Words, her words aren't going to mean anything. She's going whether she wants to or not. He says he's going to show her that love is patience. He also says love also means not having to say you're sorry. He wants her to come with him and they'll get a ranch with some chickens and a cow. He says they are going to put him in. She says, they're gonna throw you in jail, asshole. They're gonna throw you in jail. They're gonna throw you in jail. They're gonna, you're gonna go to jail for a long time, basically. He goes, well, They have chickens and cows in Venezuela too, you know. Good point. Very good point. Meanwhile, Bianca is still waking up on the porch and realizing that Walker is the killer. And then we come back to the house, and Walker has started spreading gas around the house. He's gonna light it up, and that's when they're gonna take off. She keeps saying, "You don't have to do this," to which he responds, "After all the work I put into this, I kind of do. I mean, you really think that was gonna work? Like, really? Really? You thought saying that was gonna work? Nah." So she's crying. She reaches up behind her, and for some reason, there is a butcher knife on the stove, just sitting there, within arm's reach. She pretends to be ready to go with him. He comes close to pick her up. He's going to take her outside, and she stabs him right in the gut. He falls over. She starts crawling away. Walker pulls out a smaller knife from his pocket, goes to stab her, but misses because, he's hurt now. Um, and he ends up crawling back to the corner. She's still trying, she's still bleeding from her ankles, and she's still crawling, slowly trying to get out of the house. He says it was all for Angela. All of it was for her. Now, this is about the time when we've realized, well, if he was the guy in a white mask, did he kill his fucking daughter? Like, did he kill April? They never said. They never said. They never said if he killed April. Nothing. He's just. Yeah. I'll go. On my rant afterwards. Walker says the only thing more romantic than running away together is dying together. Bianca finally shows the fuck up and screams, "Angela, I have to get you out of here." Could have grabbed her. Could have drug her out. Do anything. You don't have to stop and scream that for some drama. And Walker goes ahead and lights the gas on fire. Bianca just goes, "I'm sorry," shuts the door, and runs out of the fucking house, slamming the door, leaving Angela behind in the house. Yes, Bianca did not save Angela. She did not grab her. She did not pull her out. She just ran the fuck out of the house and, like, never even tried. Never tried to save her. Nothing. Just fucked right on off. Angela says, the last thing Angela says is it's not your fault. And we cut to Tyler trying to call Bianca. Like, he's trying to call her, trying to pick her up to make sure she's okay and everything. Tyler looks up, and now he sees the house on fire, and Bianca crying outside, screaming, "I'm sorry, it's my fault, I'm so sorry." Cue the fucking credits. That's it. That's the movie. That's how the movie ends. This bitch, the entire movie, trying to rectify her life, trying to make amends because she feels guilty for leaving April and not trying to do more to save her or anything like that. This bitch has a chance to save Angela from a burn, before the house catches on fire, and just doesn't even leave the fucking door open so Angela has a chance. Nope, shut the door. Bye, bitch. I'm out. Like, what the fuck? Like, this that doesn't make it. So that's the movie. That's That's the Babysitter Massacre. We don't get to hear who killed. We don't officially get to hear who killed April, but it's pretty safe to assume that if Old Man Walker is the white fate, the white mask killer, he had to have killed his daughter. Like, we don't talk about it. We don't nothing like that, but he has to be who killed the daughter. On top of that, we can also, we just the whole shit with Bianca. The whole shit with Bianca just doesn't sit with me. I'm so irritated by that. Um, just yeah, she just fucking left her, and that was the end of the movie. Sorry, guys, I gotta calm down. That one just that got to me a little bit. That just got to me. Hold on. Good Lord. All right. So, couple of trivia things with this movie. Um, you can find Babysitter Massacre on Tubi, Amazon, and on Tubi for free, and at Amazon Prime for rent at $3.99. I would go with Tubi. You're gonna have commercials, but it wouldn't have any commercials, and were very short commercials for me at least. Um, it of course was filmed here in Dayton, Ohio. Um, you can tell again if you're from Dayton, if you've been to Dayton quite a few times, you can tell some of the locate what some of the locations are, and it's fine. It's cool. Um, so here's the thing: multiple books were written by a guy named Dan O'Hallahan or Hanlon, based on the movie. This guy wrote a book, Babysitter Massacre, Camp Carnage, Family Splatters, and Daddy's Little Killer. There's also one Murder Cove, Life's a Beach, and It'll Kill You. So basically, he just took the Babysitter Massacre name and he's been writing books about it. I'm pretty sure he has permission in that. Um, but if you find them, read them, check them out. I have not read any of these books, but yeah, I will always support your local artists, and authors. Excuse me, sorry. Henry Cuoto, the writer and director of this movie, says he made this film as an homage to the 1980s direct-to-video slasher movies that he loved when he was younger. We know where women are in the lingerie, naked and in peril. He said he grew up renting these films, even though he was far too young to be renting them, and his parents didn't know what was in them. I think anybody raised in the 80s could all say that. We all rented movies that our parents didn't know anything about, and that was it. Yeah. Um, So we rented them. We got our parents to rent them. Their parents just looked at the cover and go, "Oh, these fucking horror movies," and let us watch them. Um, this movie came out on DVD in October of 2013, and then was added to Amazon Prime in July. It didn't add it to Amazon Prime. In July 2017, it was made available for a limited edition VHS release. So there is a VHS copy of this movie going around. I would definitely like to find that. That would be interesting. Um, One ridiculous note from IMDb. What? Okay, so apparently the girl with the candy was Linda. When the man, when White Mask makes him come still completely naked, Linda fellatio him, which I don't think she ever really fellatiated anyone. The camera zooms in, and when he starts groping her double D breasts. It seems this is done for the sexual excitement of the. Oh yeah, this is what the guy wrote. This is what the person wrote. This is just like part of a review, by the way. This is part of a review, not just a note. When the man makes a still completely naked Linda fellatio him. Again, there was no fellatio. The camera zooms in to where he starts groping her double D breasts. I'm bothered that the person making the review put down that they were double D's. They were rather large, but I would not hesitate to guess or hazard a guess as to how big. It seems this is done for sexual excitement of the viewer rather than atmospheric horror. No shit. This is especially obvious when he ejaculates all over Linda's face and breast, which again did not happen. That didn't happen. If Linda's the one I'm thinking about, he stabs her. He stabs her. He just grabs her boob and then stabs her. That's it. Like, that's a ridiculous review. Um, Odette Despair, Linda. Well, maybe that. What? That doesn't make any sense because we didn't even Linda. That's just fucking. That's just dumbass. Linda at the beginning of is at the beginning of the movie. She's not the girl with the candy. She does not have sex with the guy at all. Like none of that happens. So that guy's just an idiot. Odette Despair's first role. She's the girl who plays Linda at the very beginning of the movie. She was so excited to get the part that she readily agreed to perform fully nude when Henry asked her to. She said in an interview that she had never been shy, so being basically stark naked on set in front of the crew while filming didn't bother her at all. Uh, in front of the didn't bother her at all. In fact, she thinks they were more embarrassed than she was. Like I can agree to that. I'd probably be more embarrassed if there was a naked woman in front of me that I didn't know. I'd be a little nervous. Um, in fact, she says they were more embarrassed than her. But between shots, I guess she didn't bother putting on a robe or anything like that. She just wanted around the set nude. She figured everyone she figured everyone had already seen her naked, so why cover up, you know? Good point. Very good point there. She thought it was a hilarious when she chat with the guys and they try to avoid looking down at her body. Like, oh, look at you, ceiling. Yeah, no, no, yeah, how you doing today, Odette? One of her favorite horror movie actresses is Julie Strain. For those who don't know Julie Strain did nudity a lot, and I mean a lot. She was even in a few what would be considered Skinamax movies. One I remember her the most from was the Bear Wench Project, I believe. Um, they made so many softcore porns about the Blair Witch Project that it was sickening. But I think it was the Bear Witch Project with Nikki. What was her name? Nikki Fritz, and she was the witch. Like Julie Strain played the witch. But yeah, it, she had read that Strain used to do the same thing to tease the crew on her film, so that's what she decided to do it. I mean, which bravo for her for being so comfortable in her body that she's able to do that. But yeah, I can see why she did it. Um, Director Henry Cuoto has said he often he says he gets offended when reviews criticize the depths of his female characters because those characters eventually strip naked or take a shower. He says if a character is shown naked in the shower, is she automatically supposed to not have depth? When you run her by a movie called Babysitter Massacre, you almost have an expectation of what you're going to get. Which I agree with him. You definitely do. If you're renting a movie called Babysitter Massacre and you're expecting anything else but murder, yeah, you almost have it. Yeah, I wanted to deliver, but I knew that I could deliver and do a good job. It just blew my mind that critics were only focusing on the fact that the actresses took their clothes off. Ultimately, though, we ended up with more positive feedback than we did negative. That is a horror industry trope. Like people don't take horror movies seriously. They never have. They never will. It's just one of those things where even mainstream movie companies they'll put a horror movie out when they want to make some money because they know that a horror movie will draw. They know a horror movie will get people watching. But at the end of the day, they don't take it seriously. Like Silence of the Lambs is the best example. They wanted to give Silence of the Lambs an Oscar, even though it's clearly a horror movie, but they couldn't bear themselves to give Silence of the Lambs an Oscar as a horror movie, so they created a news section, thriller. They called it a thriller, and then they could feel better about themselves, uh, giving Silence of the Lambs an Oscar, and not have to say that they gave a filthy horror movie an Oscar. So, yeah, that's just something that the industry itself does. Um, Henrik also claims that Babysitter Massacre is the last independent movie to be carried by Blockbuster. Very well could be true because that was October of 2013. I had already closed down like 4 or 5 stores by 2013, and there weren't many left, so that could very well be a thing. I don't know if it's official or not, but yeah. Um, Here's where it gets a little weird. In 2018, Henry registered the website helpmekillpeople.com. Do not go to that website. It's not active anymore. To help raise money to turn Babysitter Massacre into a trilogy. There are no more Babysitter Massacre movies yet. Um, he has not made any more. The sequel is listed on IMDb, but it has not been released as of yet. Henrik is listed as a producer, but it is being written and directed by Dan Wilder. I don't know much about Dan Wilder, um, but they're calling it Babysitter Massacre Heavy Metal. They do have a synopsis, though. The synopsis reads Ashley calls it quits with her boyfriend Billy, who soon makes a deal with the devil to become one of his deceased heavy metal idol to become one with his deceased heavy metal idol, Viper, which results in him raising hell, literally, on Ash and her friends during their slumber party. So there it is. Um, Babysitter Massacre 2, Sleigh Bells will follow the storyline of the first. I guess that's another one they have out, or they weren't looking to make, but it will follow the storyline of the first film 2 months after the original events at Christmas time, continuing and bringing that story to its conclusion. As Christmas break hits, Ray Falls, Ohio, more girls are turning up dead. Are they related to the events of Halloween night? It will feature the return of Joni Durian and Aaron R. Ryan. How are you bringing Aaron R. Ryan back? I guess you didn't see a body, so you could bring her back. And Lucky, you're bringing back Lucky for some reason. Okay, Lucky's dead, but we'll see where it goes if they even make it. So yeah, we'll look for it. And then there's the third one, Babysitter Massacre 3 is the last one. Overnight will be it's Babysitter Massacre 3 Overnight. It will be an entirely new story with a new killer and a new cast. It follows up in it follows in the tradition of camp slashes like The Burning and Sleepaway Camp. So we'll see how many more of those will be actually made. Um, if they make them, I'll do it. I'll talk about them. But guys, that brings us to an end of our second episode, halfway to Halloween. We are 6 months out from Halloween, 5 months out before haunted houses open. Let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to the Halloween season, the haunted house season, the horror movies, the bonfire. Which you can do bonfires all summer, but still, to flannel shirts and pumpkin spice. Remember, too much pumpkin spice is a bad thing. It is. It doesn't taste good. But hope everybody has a wonderful 2 weeks. Tune in Monday. I'll do the Twitter page. You can find us at Bloody Binge Watcher Podcast on Twitter, the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast group in Facebook, and Sewer Dweller on YouTube. To find us everywhere else, you could always friend us on one of those, like us on one of those, follow us on Twitter to get all of our updates and everything like that. Let us know how we're doing. Um, I'm sorry it was just me this week, guys, but hopefully I did a good enough job to keep you guys interested in the watch. So have a great 2 weeks. Happy halfway to Halloween. Do something Halloween related this month. Eat some caramel apples. Watch some horror movies. Watch Halloween horror movies. There are plenty of them out there. And guys, have a great day.